Okay, so this is a pretty big deviation from what I was originally going to do, but it was a project born out of like deep paranoia and fear. I started out working with this really interesting library called Tone.js, which is awesome, but unfortunately it's kind of difficult to use, and as I was sitting on Friday with my headphones on, I sort of blasted my ear. And one of the things that I've always prided myself on is that when I went to grad school for sound design, I was one of the only people in the program who didn't have tinnitus. And I started thinking, I was like, oh no, I've got a low tone tinnitus thing after Tone.js, it's ruined my life. So what I started doing at around 2 a.m. was researching tinnitus and panicking, basically, that my hearing was going to be ruined forever. And I discovered that there's this new thing called notched musical therapy. And notched musical therapy, basically, tinnitus is, a lot of it is a one-tone thing. The way your eardrum works is that there's a tympanic membrane. That's what, it basically works like a drum, and then your inner ear is filled with fluid. Inside that canal are a bunch of hairs, and interestingly enough, it works a lot like a computer does. It's basically just the hair bends down, that audio signal is on in your brain. The hair stands up, the audio signal is off. However, if the tympanic membrane gets shoved too hard and it's like the waves are too strong, it'll bend over forever. The hair will die, basically. And so you've always got that signal on in your brain. That's what tinnitus is. So what notched musical therapy does is it pulls out that frequency and you listen to sound so you don't get double that frequency. It's like if you have a spotlight on you, that's kind of aggressive, but if you bring the other lights up to match it, it's a lot more pleasant. So I explored this, and I started using Tone.js to develop a diagnostic tool. Basically what you do is, I'm going to start this really low because it's probably going to be not, okay. So basically what you do is that there's one tone that's going to be your problem tone. And you basically slide up here. I'm going to do a little test. You're hearing cut off there, right? That's what happens to adults. The young person range of human hearing is 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, but ours generally cuts off, let's say ours, I'm 30, cuts off at about 15,000. So basically what you do is you wear headphones, you sit in a quiet space, and you drag this tone up and down until you find what kilohertz or what hertz is your problem is. And then let's say I've got a problem at this point. What you do here is I turn off the sine wave, and then I turn on, right now I've got white noise based on 12 that specific frequency. It's pulling out that specific frequency in the white noise. White noise is obnoxious. I much prefer pink noise. I think that's a lot, and I know a lot of people call this brown noise, but there's sort of gross associations, so I prefer to call it Brownian noise. But basically, if you listen to this, you can see, or hear rather, hear how it's affected by the pulling out that specific frequency. That is something that's going to sort of soothe you and make it a lot easier for you to, relax, not have this always be awful. I don't have tinnitus. Everything's great.